Good morning, Blue Streaks. It's Monday, April 6th, and we're going to do some CP math. I want to thank you guys for last week's efforts you guys did on law of sines and law of cosines for trig apps. You guys did a great job. Thanks for your participation. I hope you guys are healthy and staying safe. And this week, we're going to look at solving a system of equations in section 9.1 from your book. Today we're going to do by substitution, and we'll go ahead and get started. So this first example, when we have a system of equations, we have two variables and two equations. We have our x and our y, and we want to find out what works or what x and y equals that will make both equations true. So by the substitution method, the first thing we want to do is get one of the variables by themselves. It doesn't matter which one. It could be the x or the y. I usually look for a variable that has no coefficient. So we got a 3x, so that coefficient's 3. We got a y, so coefficient's 1, so we could use that. We have the other y or the other x. I'm going to get the y on the right for the second equation by itself by adding x to both sides. So let me get my pen going. This is something new I'm trying. See how it works. So I'm going to add x to both sides to get y by itself. So that's the first thing. We want to get one of the variables by itself. So I chose this y. So that's x plus 9. Now what I'm going to do is take that x plus 9 and substitute it into the other equation for the y. All right, so then I'll have one equation with, with one variable. Okay, let's see if I can get this right here. I need a pen. There we go. Go back to black. So I have 3x. Forgot my x. Plus, and then I'm going to put that x plus 9 in for y. So they're different colored because you see I'm substituting. That's why we call it substitution. Equals 1. So I'm going to combine like terms. 4x plus 9 equals 1. And then I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. So I get 4x equals negative 8. And I'll divide by that 4. And I'll do it over here. X equals negative 2. All right, so I'm half done with that. All right. Let me pull this down a little bit. All right, and then what I'm going to do is take that negative 2 that I got for x and move it there in for that x. So I'm going to rewrite this as y equals negative 2 plus 9. And negative 2 plus 9 is 7. So my answer would be negative 2 for x and 7 for y. So we just solved that system of equations by using substitution. Again, that should be reviewed for you guys. Pretty easy stuff this time of year, but we're still doing some math. So here's the next example. Again, example 1, negative 2, 7. Again, get y by itself or x, doesn't matter, your choice, but like to get one that has no coefficient. So if we're looking at example 2 here, I got 2x minus y equals 2 and 3x minus 2y equals 11. In front of this y here is no coefficient. So that's the one I want to get by itself. That way I won't get any fractions. I know you guys love fractions, but we're not going to work with them. We're going to try to stay away from as much as possible. All right, so I'm going to subtract 2x first so I can get that y by itself. Now remember, there's a negative in front of that y, so I need to make sure I keep it there. Negative 2x plus 2. And then you're going to divide by negative 1, all three of those. So it's positive y equals positive 2x minus 2. And then I'm going to take that and substitute it into the other equation, right, for y. So this would be 3x minus 2, and then in place of the y, substitute the 2x minus 2. Nothing else changes, equals 11. All right, so then I'm going to have 3x, and then distribute minus 4x plus 4 equals 11. And I get negative x plus 4 equals 11. And subtract 4. I get negative x equals 7. So that means x divided by negative 1 equals negative 7. All right, and then I take that, negative 7, and I take it over and put it in for x. And that equates over. So I can find y. Remember, I need to find x and y. So it's 2 times negative 7 minus 2. So that gives me negative 14 minus 2, negative 16. So my answer would be negative 7 and negative 16. Now, if I were to substitute negative 7 for x, negative 16 in for y into both equations, that should make both equations true. So you can always check these if you want to make sure you're right. So again, we got one of the variables by itself. You have to do that first. Every now and then, they'll give you a problem with x or y already by itself. So you don't have to do that step. You can substitute right away. But again, to make things easier, I like to get the x or y that has no coefficient in front by itself first. That makes things easier. You don't get fractions then. All right, so hopefully this is making sense. Okay, I gotta quit. All right, example 3. Let me use my mouse for this. Extend the page. So example 3 will be the last one we'll go over, and then I'll give you your assignment. But this one, pay attention because sometimes this will happen, all right? So looking at this one, I got x plus 3y equals 6 and 2x plus 6y equals negative 18. I'm going to want to get the x by itself on the left there. So I'm going to have to subtract 3y from both sides to get the x by itself. And substitute into the other equation. Remember, always in the other. So in place of this x, I'm going to write that negative 3y plus 6 plus 6y. Oops, hit the erase button. Equals negative 18. distribute negative 6y plus 12 plus 6y equals negative 18. And look what happens. I have a negative 6y plus 6y. They'll cancel. And that's what I was talking about in the beginning. Sometimes your variable will get eliminated. So then you look at the statement you get. In this case, 12 equals negative 18 is a false statement. So there'd be no solution to this. Okay? And that's all we do. We would be done. Sometimes, though, you might get a true statement like 12 equals 12 or negative 18 equals negative 18. Then we would say they would have an infinite number of solutions. So sometimes this happens when we do a system of equations where your variable gets eliminated, everything cancels out, and you get a true or a false statement. False statement like this example, you're going to say no solution. You get a true statement like 6 equals 6, you get the same thing on both sides. We call that an identity, so that has an infinite number of solutions. So anything we put in for x and y should work. All right, so that's solving a system of equations by substitution. Again, it should be a review for you. You guys have done that before, and hopefully you'll do well. I have 6 problems for you to do on the next slide that I would like to do tomorrow, Tuesday the 7th. I will attach a picture of that page on Canvas so you can see those problems. Again, just take a picture and then send it back to me through email or through Canvas. I haven't figured out how to let you guys hit a submit button on that yet, so we'll just keep doing it the way we've been doing. Again, hopefully you guys are healthy and safe, and your families. It's kind of a bummer you can't go to school and see each other. I miss you guys. Again, do your stuff you need to do for graduation. Get ready for next year. Get your applications in and scholarship stuff done as well. If I can help you in any way, don't hesitate to email me. Conferences are Mondays and Wednesdays from 12:30 to 1 and 1:30 to 2 for you guys, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8:30 to 9 in the morning. Today, though, I will not have conferences because I have to go to a funeral for my mother-in-law. So hopefully you guys won't have any issues. But again, if you have a problem, feel free to email me, and I'll help you out the best I can. Again, have a great day, and go Blue Streaks.